Hey, I'm Casey. I'm 19 years old. I like to make music and I like to wrestle.
And what about your family? Do you have any siblings that I
Yeah,
should know about?
I guess you wouldn't know my sister. She's 7, 18, 18.
Just turned 18.
Um, and a mom and a dad who are together.
And two dogs.
Two dogs.
And who's your aunt?
Um, she's really cool. Her name's TT. I don't know if you guys, or some people call her Wendy Hagen, but
Yeah. I don't usually go by TT for Teen Esteem, but maybe I'll start. That'll be my new name.
that'd be a sick name. It's like a rapper name, kind of.
Yes. So Casey is my awesome nephew. Okay. And so freshman year, you start juuling. When did you hit your rock bottom?
Yeah, I was gonna say second semester or the end of the first semester in college.
hmm
Um,
And you were going to go off to college, by the
right,
way, out
right,
of state.
which didn't happen because I was I thought I took the easy way. That's just the truth. I took the easy way. I knew the junior college I would be able to get messed up all the time. I
Hmm.
knew that I knew that I could stay with my girlfriend at the time,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it would just be easier, and I'd have all my same connections. I wouldn't have to make new ones.
For
Yeah.
getting your drugs.
Yeah.
And why don't you tell parents where you got your drugs? Because that's a question people have. How do you have the money and where do you get them?
I've never bought any drugs off of anything other than Snapchat. Um,
So every drug you ever got was from Snapchat.
right to this day. Yeah,
It's gonna be a lot harder if they don't have that.
that's a fact.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So got into some serious trouble
Hmm.
freshman year of college. So you stayed, went to junior college, and then got really strung out on Xanax. And then were you the one who kind of woke up and thought, I have to get help, or what did that look like?
No, so to be honest, I was getting in trouble a lot,
Hmm.
uh, and my parents would be like, um, "What are you gonna do?" And I'd have something every time. Like, what's different this time? And I'd come up with something new every time. Um, like I'll block all these people. Like
Hmm.
I on my phone, blah blah blah. And then after I went to jail the second time, I just came back, and then my dad looked at me. He said, "So what's different? Like what's stopping you from doing this?" And it's not that I wanted help, although I had already tried stopping Xanax by myself a couple times.
And you went for a little bit.
Yeah, like I made it a couple months at one
Mm.
point, and but the problem is I didn't stop everything. I would keep smoking and then keep drinking and keep doing everything else besides Xanax, and then one thing led to another, and I'm popping pills again. But I remember my dad saying, "What's different this time?" And I really just said what knew he wanted to hear.
Like a true addict, right? Which you're probably figuring out now from talking to addicts and being involved in recovery. You get pretty good at lying, huh?
Oh,
So what would you say to anyone watching? Let's say in particular a young person who's watching, who's been experimenting with any kind of illegal substance, be it vaping or marijuana, or a prescription drug that is not prescribed to them or that's from the streets. Just thinking, I'm just using it casually. I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to relax. I'm just being a teenager. I'm having some fun, partying here and there. What would you say to that teenager?
I would say that my friend Xander said the exact same thing, and he is dead.
Oh man, that's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And I know that he has not been your only loss in just the last like 3 months, huh?
Mhm.
Because so many kids think, well, that's not going to be me. But
Yeah.
then how do you know that, right? You never thought it was going to be you.
No, I
And
never.
you're the fortunate one who was able to get treatment.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
And so you had a lot of support from your family to go into a treatment program.
Yeah.
Now,
Thank.
ultimately, you had to agree, right? Because you were 18.
Yeah.
So you agreed. And at what point did your agreement become real that you really wanted to get help?
Not till, I remember smoking in my bathroom the night before I went, and I said to myself, um, all right, maybe I'll actually give this sobriety thing like a shot. And instead of just stashing my stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I threw away my bong, which was like a $300 piece. And
The night before rehab?
yeah,
But up until then, you were plotting, how can I still
yeah, yeah,
secretly do this? Wow.
yeah. I was like, all right, I'll just go make them happy, and then what happens happens. Um, but yeah, I remember literally going to my
Wow.
trash at like 2 a.m, just throwing it away, and not just tossing it in there, like smashing it inside the.
Wow. And you went into a treatment program for 30 days, and it was obviously very helpful, very powerful, very effective.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I didn't. Um, I thought you either did drugs
Mm-hmm.
or you were a square. Like I did not think there was any in between. I didn't think there were cool sober people. Like I didn't.
Except me,
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, obviously,
TT. Duh.
but that's just.
Like teenagers, you mean?
Yeah, yeah,
But
teenagers.
that's just how messed up your perspective and your sphere of influence was, too, right?
Yeah, but like I remember literally just smoking, offering somebody like a hit, and he says, "Nah, like I'm cool." Like, like all right, and then just judging that guy. But now that I got this crew of sober people, ex heroin addicts, ex meth heads, all that stuff, they're all that's my best friend in the room next to me right now. You know.
And how huge of that is that you guys can support each other, thus living in sober living. I mean, when did you decide to live in sober living? Did you ever even consider that as an option?
No, I was actually really mad at my therapist in rehab for suggesting it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then I thought, I was like, all right, well, I guess if I'm like serious about this, like if I go back, I'm gonna be hanging out with the same exact people. So one of the things that I picked up was the only thing I had to change was everything. Mhm.
So it's been hard.
Yeah, it's been hard. It's been a roller coaster. Um, but you get on the roller coaster for fun, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm learning how to have fun again, sober, and
Yeah.
it's amazing. Like I played my first sober game of golf ever, right?
Mm.
Like it was. My dad's like, no, but this one time I was like, Dad, no, this is my first time sober playing golf.
But you were so good at hiding it. A lot of people are.
Oh yeah, no, it's scary. It's scary how good.
What would you say to any parents out there watching who are really worried about their kids using, like maybe they have a Casey? What can they do?
What hit me the hardest was my mom giving me love and telling me that she just wants me to be happy.
And
Um,
knowing that that road was not going to make you happy.
yeah, yep. And I truly believed with all my heart it's what I wanted to be doing.
Yeah.
It's no joke.
So don't get mad, but approach it with love. But then that's not going to necessarily stop someone. What about tough love? What do you think about that? Like having some consequences and boundaries.
Yes, yes. It starts out fun. Um, and then you see little consequences. And then it's not fun anymore. Then it's just consequences. And that's true for me. I remember at the end, it was just, I was doing it to get by. And no matter what happened, whatever form of consequence it is, whether it's by the law or it's my girlfriend getting mad at me, or if it's my parents being disappointed, um, consequences on consequences on consequences, and it's so hard to see the answer when you're in it.
I'm feeling a little hopeless right now as from the parents' perspective of like, what can they do if consequences don't work? And just, I mean, I love the love aspect, but that could also be enabling.
You're right. You're right.
So
Consequences, they do work. They
they do
do.
work. Okay.
It's just,
Sometimes it takes a lot of them until they take over. Like you had said, a little fun, little consequences, till then it's all consequences.
and it's not, you can't hit them with little consequences. It can't just be no phone for this amount of time, because what's that going to do? You know,
It's got to be no phone for a long time or what?
my parents would ground me and I would still sneak out every night. And I wasn't even sneaking out before, but once they grounded me, it turned into sneaking out. I'm just trying to think of what I would give my future kids.
Yeah. Because
Uh,
parents, I mean, as your parents know, and any parents that might be watching have dealt with an addict, especially when you get that extreme into your addiction, it's so hard. I guess rewinding, maybe, would you say nip things in the bud right away? That be helpful before it gets so out of hand?
yeah. Yeah. Just don't be okay with it. I remember trying so hard to get my parents to be okay with it. Don't give in. Don't let them have just one, you know. Um, smash everything. Like literally, and just let them know where you are, and tell them stories, because like people, I don't, it's such a sad thing. I wish I had like a black and white answer for you.
Yeah. Like if you just do XYZ, then there you go. Your kids won't use substances.
It's just it's so powerful. um it's cunning, baffling, and powerful.
Yeah. X.
Some of the kids that wouldn't drink, I'd ask why. Say, oh, my there's alcoholism in my blood, and they would live by that.
That's
Exactly.
right. So educate them young, keep loving them, nip it in the bud, take away Snapchat
And money.
and money, keep, monitor the money.
Monitor the money.
So even if they have their own job, if you know they have a problem, then maybe they shouldn't have their own account or Venmo or anything like that.
I think that's a big one that we might not have really covered, but
Yeah. It's hard. Well, so glad that your story has the, I don't want to say ending because it's not over, but it's what we talk about in Teen Esteem is, making these choices that can derail you, but you can almost always reset and start over. There's very few things that you can't start over from. So I'm so thankful that you have been able to get your life back on track with the support of your family and getting you treatment and you working the program and working it every single day and going to your meetings. And now, what are your plans for your future? Because you have a future now.
so I knew I've always wanted to help people, but I never knew how. Um, and now I know how. I just I want to help people like me, that this is like not a game, because I thought it was a game. You know,
Yeah.
whether that's working in a rehab or just somewhere in recovery, that's what I want to do.
I know it takes a lot of courage, and you probably don't feel like that, but it does, to be humble and share your story and your failures, and now your success. But this is a story. And as you know, I now share your story when I go into the classroom. I don't say your name or that you're my nephew, although I know you probably wouldn't even care, but I'll say about Johnny, who started with one hit of the jewel after his wrestling practice and where that led you. And those are the stories that we try and tell to help kids thinking this is real. Do you have any closing words of encouragement to any parents or teenagers who might be watching?
There is never no hope. There's never no hope. Um, and thanks for having me on here.
Love you, super proud of you, and I can't wait to see your journey continue and all the people that you're going to help.
Love you too. Thank
You're
you.
awesome.
All right.